Yeah, we're live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show today. I had some technical difficulties, but welcome wherever you're from. Welcome to the show today. So this topic, I've wanted to talk about it for a while. Um, I had the basic idea. I didn't really know how I wanted to present it. I didn't know how people would take it when I did present it, but I said, you know what? I need to do it. I want to do it. So, the topic for today, are American blacks better off now, or was segregation the better option? Now, you hear that question, and immediately you're like, what? Of course, we're better off now, right? Better jobs, better pay. You have people millions of dollars. You have Jordan, you have LeBron, you have people in the entertainment industry and movies, all kinds of things, right? So those people only represent a small portion of the black population in America, right? So first of all, let's discuss why. My short answer would be no. I don't think we are. Gangs, incarceration are on our list. Abortion, drug use, let's not forget the crack era, public housing situation, the projects, right? And even to this day, redlining. My personal opinion and my feeling is that if we had remained segregated, that we would have held on to what is particularly black culture. The fact that we chose to integrate has caused a breakdown of that culture over the years. Let's start with incarceration. We know for a fact that a large number of so-called black um, men are in prison, right? For various reasons. I mean, from top to bottom, murder, extortion, drugs, assault, all kinds of things, right? I mean, across the board, I would say it's probably the same for different races. You get locked up for different things, grand theft auto, whatever the case is, burglary. But there are a large portion of black men in prison. Um, some, unfortunately, have been imprisoned falsely for decades. That in itself is a travesty. Um, the drug use, the crack era. What population did that affect more than anybody else? I mean, there's people on even on YouTube who have admitted that their parents were addicted to crack and couldn't really be parents because of it, right? Um, so that's the drug use, the gangs, right? Gang culture is so prevalent, and it really doesn't matter where, right? It's New York, Florida, LA, um, even those out of the way places, Boston, Texas, and Oklahoma, places that you wouldn't think, Mississippi, Alabama, places that you wouldn't think that, okay, this area is not really that, it's not like a big city kind of setup, so there wouldn't be gang culture there. It is there. It might not be as prevalent as in other places, but best believe it's there. Chicago, another big one, right? And we have these majority of gangs are so-called blacks, right? Young guys, they have no direction. Some of them, their parents are locked up, or some of them, their parents came up in the gang, so they had to be initiated or following path. And we have the drill music, the trap music. If blacks as a whole had said, listen, we want to hold on to Black culture, and we feel that integrating is not the way to go. Because let's not forget, these people were slaves for hundreds of years, right? Everything I'm talking to you about, these were being perpetrated by whites, right? We all know the stories of Al Capone, Lansky, the bootleggers, the gun runners, those involved in running numbers, prostitution. All these things were by whites, right? Because they had the means, they had the money, they had the foot soldiers, right? And plus, they're white. What black person in their right mind is going to be out there bootlegging, right? When you're just coming out of slavery or running prostitution and running numbers, you know? These things only happen after, okay, it's like we're going to get together with this group, and next thing you know, now you have blacks doing the exact same thing. And to me, that's where the culture of blacks fell apart after the integration. Now, don't get me wrong, there's whites out there who love black people, love black culture. I mean, I have white friends, Caucasian friends, so it's no slight against them, but I'm speaking in general terms of what we see now as big issues in the black community, right? Those are some of the most prevalent issues. Um, I'm not even gonna talk on voting rights because to me, if you as a community, you're together and you're doing what you have to do to build bonds within your community and keep that infrastructure and your culture together, it doesn't matter who's in office. And I mean, you can look at other communities and see that that is true. If you have a community of people that stick together, they do for each other, they carry out commerce within the community, comes down to economy. How many times does the money rotate in that community? You know, they're well off. That does not happen in the black community, and it does not happen because of integration. So we're okay with doing business for all these other people. And what about our businesses? What about our economy within us? It's said that blacks are among those who spend the most money, but who are we spending it with? Right? These are the things that you have to take into, I would say, contextually speaking, take it in context like, yeah, they have all this, they spend money on expensive clothes, designer this, design. Yeah, but none of these people that they're spending money with are black, right? Who's the richest designer? Louis Vuitton, um, Hennessy, the owner of that. They make boatloads of cash for blacks, and that's just a fact. I mean, you see it in all the rap videos, the hip hop videos. This one got on Louis this, got on this Gucci this, or what's the new one they're wearing? Celine, um, Amiri, uh, Prada, DG. I can name all the brands. None of these are owned by blacks. But then you say, oh, well, Kanye West, he has Yeezys and they make a lot of money. You have Air Jordan, he's done so well. Yeah, but Nike is not owned by Michael Jordan, right? We all know Jordan sell, like hot bread. You know what I mean? They sell like hot bread and butter, and yeah, that's true. But that's off of a company, that's white owned. Of course, they made merchandise of Michael. He was, I guess, somewhat smart enough to have that Jumpman as his logo, and you know. enough said about that. Kanye West, he made the Yeezys. It's a big thing, but still, these are just, they're getting their money through another company that is basically hired them to be the name face of their merchandise, and they're making money off of it that way. Look at the situation right now with so many of our black women on places like OnlyFans, right? Talking about they have the bag, they have this, they have that. Yeah, but you're on OnlyFans prostituting yourself to get that money. Now, you might see it as, well, I'm not actually going out there and walking the strip and having intercourse with guys. But from what I've heard, I don't know anybody on OnlyFans. I'm not registered, but there are those who have people come to their place wherever they're filming or recording or whatever it is. There's girls on Instagram, that guys DM them from all over the place, offering them money to come over for sexual favors. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that people don't know about. Right? I was just reading a story last night online about the Biden administration sending all this money over to Ukraine. Listen, war, I don't support it. Not a big fan of it. However, I do have the utmost respect for the soldiers, the men and women that go over there and sacrifice everything to protect the country. So these people have my respect. But when you have people at home that are in this state where they're destitute, we have COVID that wrecked businesses, right? People are all under some sort of economic financial burden. You have people that are homeless, people that are waiting for moratoriums to kick back in. Some moratoriums are ending, so there's probably going to be more people out in the street. Things are hard over here, right here. I mean, there's a church not far away. If you don't know, I'm recording this from New York. There's a church not far away from me. And even in the dead of winter, I went out there to donate some clothes. There was a long line in front of the church with these people giving out groceries, food, clothing, to people in need. Right? You see people on the streets all the time in New York City. I mean, on the subway, on the street, different places you go. They're not right up here. Like, they're suffering some sort of mental or possibly spiritual break, right? And these people need assistance, but they're not being assisted. But you have this lump of finances to send overseas to another nation, while the people right here in this nation, they have to do what exactly, right? It would be different if you would say, well, you had this situation where they had in Canada where when you were out of work during COVID, they sent you money on a monthly basis, right? So as a person that was employed, you lost your employment, you would get a monthly stipend. I think it was about like 2 grand, right? Here in the US, you got what, 3 payments of, what was it, 12, $1,400, right? If you lost your job, and then you have people that were on unemployment, and then they were getting this extra money. But really, that's just one part of it. What about all the people who then were still employed? What about the people who then lost their houses, I mean, and the programs, from what I've heard, is pretty difficult. I mean, I even tried it myself just to go through it online and see what the process is. You're talking about a lot of these people are not even computer savvy, right? People that have these issues where they need money for housing, for their Con Ed bills or whatever, for food, stuff like that. Yeah, there's people who, when COVID hit, they were already on Medicaid and all these other things. So for them, it was pretty much smooth sailing, so to speak, because they were already familiar with these processes. What about the people that weren't familiar with them, did not have access to these programs, and now there's basically a waiting list saying, oh, well, can't help you right now. There's actually a program that I looked up myself. It's to assist with heating and Con Ed bills and stuff. They're basically saying they're only helping certain counties right now. That's crazy. How is it you have billions of dollars to basically throw overseas in a dumpster fire, watch it burn, but there's people right here that you can't assist? And all of that is because of desegregation. If we were doing things on our own, had our own systems set up within our own communities, we wouldn't be looking anywhere for any assistance. We would have had decades basically to set up our own infrastructures. And when something like this happens, then we handle it in our own way. And there are communities out there that handle it just like that. Like, you're not going to come in and tell them what you're going to do as the government. They're going to tell you if they need anything. If not, you just stay over there. We'll stay here, continue doing what we're doing, and we'll be fine. We don't need anything from you. And I think that's the big picture that a lot of people are missing, because you see a black face on TV, or this woman gets appointed as a judge, which to me is a nothing burger. It means absolutely nothing. To You get appointed to a justiceship, like, that don't mean nothing, right? There's just a black dude killed, what's his name, Loyola or Iowa, something like that. I was reading the story. Wasn't armed or anything, had a scuff with cops, ended up getting shot in the head, right? In a place where you have your own community and your own people, police your own people, things like that wouldn't happen. Would it be ideal? Maybe. Maybe not. I mean, we do know what happened to the so-called blacks who went off, did their own thing, had their own communities. They got burned down. But rather than bending or folding under the pressure, maybe they should have just rebuilt and done it over again. Because you're always better off when you have your own and you don't need to rely on Big Brother to come and give you a helping hand and tell you what they can or can't give you. Right? You have people that are uneducated, without housing, all these things. You have your own programs to take these people in and say, listen, um, there is housing, and we're going to give you a skill. Or even maybe, all right, you don't need a skill. Maybe there's rivers that need to be cleaned, there's streets that need to be cleaned. You don't have housing, you'll have this housing, and this will be your job. It's easy enough if you have your own to do for your own people. It might not seem like that, but it really is that simple, right? You have people, so-called blacks now, with all these billions of dollars. What do? Donate it to some college. What's that supposed to do? But anyway, that's my opinion. That's my thoughts. I don't want to make this video too long. I figured 20 minutes should be enough time to say what I have to say, put my ideas out there. If you do see this, feel free to comment, like it, share it with somebody. I know there's other people out there that think along the same lines that I do. They don't want to speak out. They're afraid to speak out. Maybe they're afraid of public speaking. I don't know. Whatever the case is, I hope this resonates with somebody out there, and you can see my perspective. What do we do from here? Well, you do what you can, right? The system is already set up. It's not like we could change it, but you do what you can within your own community, within your means, right? And it starts at home first. Don't want your kids out there peddling drugs, being in gangs, um, getting pregnant at an early age. It starts at home, right? You have to indoctrinate them into the proper culture of our people, right? God-fearing people, yes, and we live our life a certain way. So, with that, I will bid you farewell. Shalom. Tomorrow is Sabbath, so I don't know if I'll make my next video tomorrow. I might. Depends on the weather. If it's nice like today, nice and sunny, then I can just set up, do it right here. See, I have a poster in the back here. I'm going to be talking about this soon, but there's another one that's missing. Once I put that up, uh, I'll be talking about it soon. All right, so till next time, food for thought.